Relocating to another country from Nigeria is a popular topic among many Nigerians today. A lot of people talk about how they are tired of this country and would love to move abroad. In other words, they want to Japa. My name is Tracy Dominic, and on today's episode of Life Unscripted, a few friends will be joining me to discuss the Japa culture. Stay tuned. All right, guys, you guys are welcome. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Life Unscripted. Ifani, Ekene, and Prince. Mm. I must say, you guys are looking good. I'm in the middle of handsome men. I'm blessed.
That's another way to look at it.
Leti to okay.
Yes, exactly. All right, so the discussion of today, we're talking about Japa culture, right? And we all know that a lot of Nigerians over the years have fled the country, in pursuit of their dreams. And as a matter of fact, many people believe that they would have to go abroad before they are successful. And that has been the belief all through. So, okay, let me start with you. In your opinion, anyway, so what you think is the driving force for a lot of young people, Nigerians generally, to go abroad and relocate there?
So if we're comparing facts and statistics and looking at the basics, so someone would ask you, what is there to stay for? I mean, ASU is on strike. Yeah, doctors are stressing to go, and NLC just did was it 2 weeks warning strike, or the move around of the warning strike, and then EEDC is saying they're going to come in. Hello. You say,
So for you,
no,
it's nothing good.
no, it's not been nothing good. Like I said in the beginning, we're comparing facts. You said what could. So, and I like in your introduction said to pursue their dreams. Dreams. I mean, if you're going to get your dreams, you're looking at what could help you get to where you're headed. And if you're putting everything to perspective, if you have a greener pasture and a greener, atmosphere that could help you get your dreams, why waste it? That's how I look at it anyway.
Okay, taking from what he said, Prince, he said the greener pastures are actually over there. So if you were given the opportunity to actually japa, you know, would you decide to go or would you like to stay in Nigeria?
I personally, who wouldn't want to leave this country? It's quite obvious. The facts are there. The whole, like, the reason why most of the people travel is basically because we find, not that we don't have the resources to have the opportunity that people get over there, but I think that with the kind of structure we have, it's very, very difficult for us to say, okay, someone wants to be someone, like just like the doctors who are always who are always leaving the country, and the nurses who are always leaving the country. It's, we have hospitals there, but like the whole opportunity for them to thrive is not there. It's quite obvious. It's very, very obvious. Even the people who control the structures here, most of their resources are not even in the country. So you see, like me staying here is like I'm doing myself.
Wow. Okay. Can I hear from you, Ifani? Like, what would you think? What should people put into consideration? Because most persons actually they want to just travel because they don't really have a long-term plan. They just want to go out. What do you think they should put into consideration when
Okay.
traveling out?
Oh, well, like everything, you need to have a plan. That's the first part. Outside the country is a huge culture shock for people who haven't been there before, people who are now going there to live. Okay. It's one thing to travel and, you know, experience the place, then come back. It's another thing to go there and now face their laws and regulations and everything as a working person there. Yeah. So if you're going outside the country, you need to find out the cost of living, first of all. You need to know what you're going there to do. And if you have plans to come back, you need to keep those plans in your head. If not, you get lost there. There are people who have gone to the United States and they're just loafing about, like they're ice cream sellers or they're taxi drivers in perpetuity. Not like after this, I'll do better, right? And doctors are not exempt. You go there without any plan for your life, like you haven't written your exams here and you want to leave. You get there, your eyes will shine. Everything will just scatter for you there, and that's how it is really. You need to have a plan before you go there. What else did you ask me about from that?
Okay, let me come from your own
Uh-huh.
field. You said something earlier about doctors having greater opportunity over there. So, what
Uh-huh.
do you think in the medical field? What do you think is missing here, aside from the equipment and all the medical machines that we have? What do you think
Well,
Nigeria is
for
lacking?
one, salaries. The
Okay.
salaries are terrible here. So when I was a house officer, yeah, what I earned if you converted it to USD was $1,000 plus. So
Mm.
we're balling, okay? So they'll pay salaries, we go to shop rights, we shop in trolleys, don't shop in baskets, yeah? Now, as a senior resident,
Mm.
I don't earn up to that. Do you understand? So first of all, the cost of living here is insane. And then you now, if you're married with children and all of that, and you have rent to pay, it's now even more expensive. And nobody cares. They all see you're like, hey, doctor, and everything goes up by 500 naira or 2,000 naira because they assume
I mean,
you
you're a
have that
doctor.
money. I mean, you're a doctor, right? But you
Yeah.
don't have it. So anyone who wants to Japa as a doctor, please, all I'm just saying, write your exams here, pass
Mm.
everything, then leave. Then leave. The people who don't want to leave already have things here. They have houses, they have, farmlands, they have appointments that are too juicy for them to leave. Yeah. If you are young, if you're like less than 40, this is like your youth. Your 20s are your youth. Bam bam. Your 30s, your youth is starting to, decline small, small. From 40, you're not youth again. No. It's all over. So this time you still have energy. Go out there, hustle all you can hustle. If you want to come back, come back. If you don't want to come back, it's all good. It's your life. There's only one life.
Exactly.
After that, it's done. Yeah.
Well, everybody wants to Japa, almost everybody. But I still think that, of course, over there abroad, there are still downsides. There,
Well,
there are still
there is a
downsides.
conversation I had with a colleague of mine. So I came back from, for the summer after I traveled, and the question was, why do you do that? Every year you go for summer and every year you come back. And earlier when we were talking, I was vacationing. Why not just leave?
Forever.
Exactly. And I painted a scenario. Here we're talking about dollars, yes? And then we're saying, oh, dollar it's 710, 730, right? But a house in New York, I'm not talking of studio apartments, is $2,500. So if you're going to be able to live comfortably and pay your utilities, and you should be able to work jobs that should be paying you, give and take, $5,000, $6,000 a month. So you're hustling 2, 3 jobs at a time, and that way you can pay your 2,700 is a month, depending on the districts and the states. Okay, that's for US. For the UK, you're going to pay, like, bills are going to take most of the things that's coming in because you have taxes here and there. Nigeria would love to drive big cars. You can drive a big car in the UK. So there are 1,001 things. So about to make it, you would have to. I love Nigerians. We work. We have energy. And when how you know in Nigeria, in fact, an African man in the international sense, there's always somebody calling in. Oh, I've worked so hard. I'm sick. You find that person that would always say, "I'm available." Go and look at that person. It's come from an African origin, has some African descent somewhere, because for them 2, 3 hours said, okay, the Nigerians will want to walk around the same energy that you walk around. Point is, if you are okay, if you are thinking of a job like he said about planning, so you're going there and then you're thinking of getting a job and your job is not paying you well as it should, you may end up being homeless. That's the
And end
truth.
up being involved in
Exactly.
drugs and crimes
And
and everything.
then therefore Australia, they have backpackers. It's just like a homeless apartment kind of. So at end of the day, people just come there, put their heads, sleep, wake up next morning, brush your teeth, you're out again, and that's it. There you pay like 2016, it was between $5 to $6 a day. Now with everything, it's increased as well. Point is, going abroad, living abroad, it's luxury, so to say. But again, if you don't have a job that will pay, same way we're saying here, if you don't have enough money to pay for things that you want, then you have a problem. So even if you go abroad, it's not like you're walking on the street and you're picking money and they're saying, oh, dollars, so yeah, what? It doesn't work like that. So you have to work it. And for you to do the work, just like Doc said, you've got to do international exams, you've got to do the licensing, you've got to get work permits. That like, so clarity of purpose is one thing. So when they ask, oh, why are you not leaving? I'm like, because I don't want to. I love traveling and coming back home. Not like there's something here. I mean, but yeah, it's true. I mean, well, not like there's something here. Yeah, it's just that. Yeah, I mean, travel, come back, and more so, one of the reasons a lot of persons would travel. For me, I haven't found a reason. Like, that's the truth. 2 3 years ago, yeah, I haven't found a knack, something that would just, because everything I could achieve there, so to say, I
You
can't
can
hear.
achieve it here. What about you, Prince? Have you found any reason to leave completely?
I am a pro Japa. So,
Okay.
something like that.
Project.
So the thing now is, first of all, who are Nigerians? Everything else they have said is nice. From what I'm going to pick from what he has said is, Nigerians are very hardworking people. Place them in any kind of work environment with a sustainable structure and opportunity, they thrive. It's like the DNA stuff. So they thrive. Nigerians are not people who want to come and sit. In fact, the reason why there's crime, there's this high rate of crime is because there's no structure that provides opportunity for some certain set of people. Yeah. So give a Nigerian opportunity, just like he actually said. You have to find a job that pays you about $5,000 before you could actually afford a house. Yeah, people have jobs, but still they can't even afford their apartments. So one of the very much reason why people travel abroad is not because they don't like Nigeria. Everyone loves being a Nigerian. Like every Nigerian loves Nigeria. But the thing is just that the opportunity for some certain set of people to thrive isn't there. Opportunity, like the bedrock, like where do an average Nigerian start growing in this kind of country? So yesterday, few days ago, there was a hike in dollar rates. And Nigeria is an important country. We don't export much. So how do we thrive? How do we thrive with dollar being in 710, 720? An average man, so someone who is earning about 1 million naira a month, few months ago is going to be like, converted to dollars, is about like 500,000. So it doesn't really, like the opportunity we don't have here is what we are looking for abroad. It's not like we wouldn't want to do those things here, but like because we want to work out ourselves. Most of the times, why people even engage in crime there is just because those people are not the majority of Nigerians who are abroad. Majority of Nigerians who are abroad don't mind cleaning, working in restaurant, being a janitor or stuff. So one of the reasons, like what is always increasing the Japa culture here is basically because of the lack of opportunity. Like there have to be a structured opportunity. There abroad, you know that if you work, you live in a house, and you feed. But here, we know that even if you work, there's still like a chance that you won't even have enough money to even feed yourself.
Okay, so if you were given the opportunity, like everything you needed to take all your family abroad, what would be your long-term plan?
Okay, my long-term plan. First of all, education. Education is a very long-term plan. So, if I'm to travel abroad, I've not traveled all my family out. Of course, I would take all of them out. What are we doing here? I've spent like almost half of my life here. So why don't I just try and see how green the other side of the pasture is? It wouldn't be a bad thing if I decide, okay, like there's nothing I will see that I've not seen here. Like pros and cons.
Exactly. I know. I was thinking of this. We have this visa wahala. Some people go through hard times getting their visa approved and all of that. So what do you think? What do you think about that? Because so many Nigerians, some of them even marry who they don't know just to get that citizenship. It baffles me, but I mean, if I was that desperate, I think maybe it's something I would do. But what do you think about that, Tiffany? I'm still like, you see people going extra mile, just to be a citizen of Canada, the UK.
Mm.
What do you think about that?
Well, I'm not sure if this is a saying or not, but in desperate times call for desperate
Desperate
measures. Yeah,
measures,
it's
yeah.
a saying. Yeah,
Amen to that.
yeah. I read too much, so I just know it came from somewhere. See, if you have a plan, like you've told yourself, I am young. My mates outside the country are doing better than I am here.
Mm.
In the next 4 or 5 years, I wouldn't be at the level I want, even half of the level I want to be. And you want to go outside. I'm not encouraging you to do it though, but if your plan is you marry someone, whatever, get your papers and hustle yourself out of it, fine, fine. Because the important thing is you need to have a reason for every action you take.
Yeah.
You're going outside because you think at this your young age, you have the energy to out hustle everyone, yourself, and get the life you've always wanted and put your family in the green for generations to come. What is stopping you is visa. One way to get visa is to marry one funny person, sketchy person you don't know, and it's all good. I'm not encouraging you to do that though, but if that's what you're going to do, it's not illegal. Go ahead. Just don't break the law. Just don't break the
Exactly,
law.
right.
That's the main thing.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
if it is against their law for you to do sketchy marriages to get a visa, please don't do it. If it's not against the law, yeah.
What's your take?
There's something he said, and it reminded me. It's like a reiteration of what I said earlier. You asked why, and I'm like, I haven't found a reason. It's not like I don't want to, but I'm a very definitive person. Okay, so I was coming in for job, and I want just to do jive and go back. I'm not here to do any work, and that's what's on my mind. About your question, something. So you realize that a lot of Nigerians seek asylum to countries abroad, like 1,001 of them, Canada, UK, US. At some point, it was the UK, and then it wasn't working out so well. Even before the asylum came into the picture, in fact, shocker, most of the people from Nigeria or Nigerians are in the UK are asylum seekers. No one will tell you their story unless you're privy to the information.
Yeah.
Take it. Canada, Salamim shows, same thing.
Yep.
For marriage, before now, marriage used to be the easiest way. But now, people too don't wise up now. Sure.
Exactly.
So there has to be like social workers coming to make sure you live together, you're doing well, like you have joint accounts. And over the women power, it's enthroned. So for a woman, if she doesn't like your face the next morning and she's a terrible person, she would say you abuse her. So that becomes a whole of another case. And then she would seize your passport. I mean, there are 1,001. It's sketchy. Just like, it's very sketchy. It is. And it's very dangerous. Just like someone saying when we were younger, do not take anything from strangers. That's the exact situation. Do not take lollipop from a stranger. Because you do not know where that is coming from. You touch the lollipop and then you end up in a coffin. But that's the situation. But people do it because desperation.
Desperation is the only way out.
It's
For them.
not. Yeah.
For them.
There's a conversation I have nephews and this, and most of the conversations I always tell them it's, please do not walk yourself into a situation where your only option is based on decision you made because you're desperate. It kills a lot of dreams. You want to get a better life. You realize that sometimes, okay, the person you eventually get married to, it could be one of those ones you watch in the movie that said, do not marry this type of person. So they have the keys to your kingdom. Your money is coming through them. And because they have a joint account, they could wake up in the morning and say, oh, you're a man, you should be able to provide for your family. And then they go shopping. What do we do when we're angry? We board a plane. What? You buy a ticket. Where's the money come from? Your account. You can't say anything. And until you regularize, nationalize your say, and for the singular fact that you're even dark person, let's not even start that situation. It's enough to question your truth. So there's a lot of doubt, and most of them are made from desperation. And just don't get yourself walked into that situation where your option has to be or decision is coming from.
Out of desperation.
Yes.
So, Prince, what country would you? What particular country?
Okay, before I say the part of country I want to say, like
Okay.
based on the desperation stuff.
Okay.
Okay. So now, why is it desperation? Why are Nigerians desperate to leave the country? Like, we have been pushed to the edge, and desperation is just the only thing we have. When we look at our back, we are seeing bandits, a lot of kidnappers, unemployment, and this is just the desperation. Nigerians know all these things. They know that when you go there, it's hustle. It's like risk. But like, we know all this. But the point is that, do those, like, that environment, does it provide? Sometimes it's not always green, you know. But does that environment, like, comparing the downside of that environment to our own upside, that is how we're going to do it. So that's how unfair the comparison is, because you can't compare, like, their own downsides is more like our own upsides here. Because something you do and get caught up with it is kind of legal. Like, what we do here in this country is what we call legal here is illegal there. But that's the truth.
Doc talk about cultural shock.
So what we call illegal here is like what we call legal here. So let's not talk about our illegal. Our illegal is
downside is even better. Because many people actually think, okay, abroad is all soft and easy life.
Oh no,
it's not all soft and easy life. That's
what we are comparing is like, how are we going to survive? Like, you are sure that if you have to work, you're going to get the meal for the next morning or the next day or the next time. But here, you're not even sure that even if you do like 3 or 4, in fact, in Nigeria, you can't even do 3 or 4 jobs because you're going to die. Yeah. You can't do, anyone who does like 3 or 4 jobs here is having, because we don't count it in hours, though.
People wouldn't even allow you to do 3
or 4 jobs.
I mean,
your employer won't even allow you to even do 2 or 3 jobs here in this country.
Doctors would. Doctors could shuffle hospitals. I mean, essential duties. They can. But every other person, like the 1% of
I
the.
agree.
You know.
I agree. Yeah.
So, like, apart from doctors, okay, let's say doctors, most of the doctors
make us the bad guys.
No, you're not the bad guys. They're just
so like that's it. So when we compare, this desperation is like most of the times in the whole trenches vibe. Let me use trenches. Like, they call it determination. They don't call it desperation because they've been desperate for a lot of time. So you don't tell an average Nigerian student who doesn't have people sponsoring them, who they went through university, will have an opportunity to marry any woman just to go abroad and study. Who wouldn't do it? ASU has been on strike for like 5 months, 6 months. No one's talking about it. In fact, they are more interested in the election that's going to come in next year than students going to school. No one cares about it. And the money, and the worst part of it is that none of their children are schooling here. So they are holding this Japa culture.
Which is really pain.
Yeah. So now they are holding this Japa culture from people who really need it.
And it's true, because when you go to the immigration office, they will just delay the visa. They will do everything possible for you to, stay back. Or
those people at the immigration office, they are different kind of people altogether, different kind of Nigerians altogether.
I always argue that this government has come to, Nigerian system has succeeded in building a cycle where poor people taunt other poor people and open roads for the rich. I'll explain. So you talked about immigration, right? So you want to get your passport renewed or something, and they will tell you, oh, you've got to do this, paper is not ready, then you bribe your way through, right? Then the person, for instance, say the person doing this, it's a trader, right? And the trader pays, instead of 35,000, pays 50K. And then you, as the immigration man, you're going to go to the market to go shop, right? And then you're going to end up in one of the shops of the traders who would see you and say, oh, on the immigration, on the Lego. So something that would have gone for 20,000 would go for 30,000, and that's a cycle, and it continues. And then you come out, a man will see you, oh, you got shop right, you have too much money. Why would you pay me 500 naira when you can pay me 700 naira? It's a cycle. And then the policeman will stop you on the road and say, oh, you even have the money to enter keke on your own and go and shop.
Oh, it's a terrible cycle.
Exactly. So that cycle of a poor man taunting other poor men, and then when a rich man comes, they're like, oh, to Alisa, there's a road. They're not part of that. Please do not stop a rich man and say, bring out your phone. I want to see people you talk to. I want to see your passports.
At all.
But then you, the poor man, the policeman is a poor man actually for standing on that road to start with. And then you see other poor man driving keke, and then you stop him, and then you shake him until 1 naira falls from his pocket. And then he continues, that 1 naira you collected, he's going to add to the money your wife would enter. Your wife will now say, instead of 100 naira, will now say 120. It's not making sense.
It's not making
So
sense.
that's one beautiful cycle.
Exactly. Just like there was this video that was trending online, Arise TV broadcaster, what's his name again? Rufai. He was threatening the policeman, telling him, I'll call the governor. You call the governor, but you are wrong.
Okay,
He was
for trespassing the
BRT lane at Lagos. Passing there when you know you are wrong. And they were questioning you about it, and you kept saying, I'll call the governor. What are you calling the governor for? So the rich has this, belief that they can
Get away with anything.
get away with
So
it.
that's a cycle until the young ones, or the youth, or everyone in fact, learned that, understand, the first is appreciation and understanding that this is a cycle that has to be broken. And then you start looking at, how can I break free of that cycle from your end? If you can, find a way around it. Once you break it, believe me, that's like a whole new world for you. You were like, so this is it.
Exactly.
That's it.
And I also believe if anyone is going to travel out, you should just carry your whole family and go, because there's no way you would be over there, because anything that happens back home in Nigeria is definitely going to affect you. Because let's assume, okay, you're over there in Canada or Australia, and then something is happening in Nigeria, no one is safe. You're going to feel the heat wherever you are. That's just what I think,
that's the
really.
truth.
But
Yeah.
That's
then
just what I
we
think.
can't all carry our families.
You can't,
But
you can't even carry everyone, because
But then-
just based on the visa requirements in some places now, right? Okay, let's say you look at the American one with the H-1B visa. That's for people with specialized skills that the country will benefit from, right? So maybe they can allow you to bring dependents, but I'm not sure of your family. Dependents are like your spouse and kids. So I'm not sure of your family. And then imagine bringing your grandma over to the US. Like, what's she going
totally
to do?
impossible.
You
Right?
get, she likes to wake up in the morning, greet her neighbors, sweep the ground, drink me. Then you now tell her, oh, when you wake up, just stay on your own in the room. Nah.
All right, we're rounding up now. So lastly,
Mhm.
I used to wonder, why do people always hide their travel plans? Like we always see pictures when you get to Canada or Australia, just post pictures. But when you're planning to travel, they tell your bro, so you don't tell anybody. Aside village people, I'm sure. Aside village people.
Like even when you're going to your village from years, you don't even tell people you're coming back.
They'll
That's
just
how
see.
bad.
They just say like,
You can't. I'm leaving today. Oh.
Wow, okay. Anyway, we pray everything gets better. Thank you so much, guys.
Sure.
Ifeanyi, Ekene, Prince, thank you so much for joining us.
You're
And
welcome.
thank you, viewers, for sticking with us. Let us know in the comment section if you would like to Japa or stay back here in Nigeria. Tell us why you would like to do that. Also, be sure to like this video, share to your friends and family. And also, my name is Tracy Dominic, and this is MyColorTV, and this is Unscripted. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.